Moving now.
Moving? We might actually be live now. Okay.
Good.
That was fun.
That was fun. It was fun for us. They probably didn't see what just happened.
Exactly. And I think our camera's crooked too. So that's where we are. Oh my gosh.
All
there
right.
we are. Okay.
Very good.
Welcome to Living Live. And hey, look at, I put your logo up there. How
Thank
do you like that? Is that the right logo?
That's very cool.
Is that the right logo?
That is the right logo.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
For now.
For now.
It could change by the time we're done.
Yeah, we never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Well, this is Linda West with Living Live, and I'm super duper excited to be here with Steve Farber. Now, he is the founder. Founder's good, of Extreme Leadership Institute. Today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject, and that is love in business. So I know they don't go together, but you're going to tell us how they do.
Yeah, I am.
I am
going to tell you.
I heard him speak about 2 or 3 weeks ago at an event, and I was like, I got to have you on my show because it's so amazing. And we could talk for hours, but we only get a half hour. So we're going to do our best. If you know anybody who has a business or anybody who's starting a business, please share this out, whether it's a small one-person business, solopreneur, or a huge corporation, because or
anyone in between.
Or anyone,
just to be clear.
Like one person or 10,000 people, that's it.
That's
or
it.
in between.
Or in between.
Or in between is going to be a good thing. Share this out with them because it's going to be great information. I'm really, really excited to share Steve with you because the knowledge he has and how he shares it is a really great way for all of us to learn. And here's the thing: so a lot of times, Steve, people get into like a position of view and they stop being able to speak the language that the people need to hear in order to hear them. Because. We elevate.
Say more about that.
We learn more.
By the way, this is a line that you learn in facilitator school.
Okay.
Say more about that. So go ahead. Say more.
I'm more than happy to say more about that. Okay. So as we learn and we grow, we learn and grow. When we're imparting the information to other people, a lot of times we impart it from where we are today.
Yes.
But our audience and our potential clients are where we were. And I think
that's a really good point. Yeah.
Okay. Is this more part of your leadership?
No, that's really true. I think that's true for anything. When I look at, because I've been doing the work of leadership development for 30 years. Believe it.
Oh wow, you're not 30 years old, are you? Oh my gosh, he was born a leader.
Only twice that.
Okay.
But yes, it was a process of learning and growing. And I've been in the business of helping people develop as leaders, right? And anybody that does this kind of work understands that we have something to teach, but we're students of our own clients, right? Yes. So in other words, I've learned so much from the people that I was ostensibly there to help for the last 30 years. So it is learning and growing and simultaneously learning, growing, and teaching, right? So part of my job, the way I see it, is to take what I've learned and not just apply it in my own life and in my own company, but obviously to teach other people what I've learned.
It's our job to do that.
It is.
Really. Otherwise, you're being stingy.
Yes, that's right. It's selfish. Our job. It's our job, no matter if we're in the business of teaching or not. It's always our job to teach. But as you said, it's about expressing the lessons in a way that's going to resonate with the people that haven't had the same experience, right?
Yes.
That haven't been through 30 years of working with every kind of company you can imagine. So I just think that was really very well put. I hadn't quite thought of it.
Isn't that cool? Before. He learned something from me already.
There's an example of what we're talking about.
That's so awesome. I love that. Thank you. I think we'll just end the show just like that.
Oh, just bask in that for a while.
Okay, so before we move further, I want to let you guys know how you can find Steve. Now you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter.
You're on Instagram. You're ramping up your Instagram.
Yeah,
so go check
focusing on that. That's having a lot of fun with
LinkedIn
that.
also?
On LinkedIn as well, yes.
Snapchat?
No.
Is that even around anymore? I don't know.
I think so. That's where my brain gets kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what the hell that is. My kids have shown it to me.
Is the snap part or the chat part?
I don't know. The chat part I can do.
So this is how you can find Steve. Go to @Steve Farber on everywhere except Snapchat. And then today we're going to be talking about what's love got to do with it, but about business.
Why, thank you, Tina.
You're welcome. What's love? I love singing. Okay, anyway, yes.
As do I.
Ooh, we can do karaoke.
We could, but not now.
Okay. Eventually, I'm going to start my show off with a karaoke. I'm going to have my guests do karaoke. I'll bring you back when I start that.
That is a great idea.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't tell the world. Yeah.
Sign me up.
We're back.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's pay attention and see if we freeze. And if we freeze, we'll go out and come back really quick.
Okay.
So if we freeze, stick around because we're going to come back. Because this is such a great topic.
You know, just for the record, our internet here is killer.
I know, but I couldn't find the killer one. I found the baby one.
Must be something you brought in with you.
It is.
It's your vibe.
It is. It's a good vibe, though.
I know.
You know what? I sang that Tina Turner song, and it went downhill from there. But what does love have to do with business? Okay, let's talk about this topic. What's love got to do with business? And then we're going to cover Steve's 3 tenets of greater than yourself. And then stick around to the end because we have a free gift for you he's going to give. So you want to stick around to the end for that. Okay, so let's talk about what is love? What does it have to do with business?
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting question because we shouldn't even be asking it. Why do we even have to ask the question? It's like asking what does love have to do with being human? Right? I mean, doesn't that sound like a silly question? Because business is a human endeavor. I mean, at least for now. Every business that I've ever had any contact with has been made up entirely of human beings. And there's something in our training, in our conditioning, in our history that has taught us to think that love has no place in business. Mm-hmm. That we want love in every aspect of our lives. We want to love our kids. We want them to love us. We want to love our friends. We want them to love us. We want love in every relationship, and then we go to work and it no longer applies.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
True.
That this idea that business is a purely rational endeavor? It's not. We know it's not.
Because it's emotional.
Of course it is.
Buying patterns are emotional patterns.
Of course. So if that's true, if business involves both the emotion and rational thought, then why would it include all emotions except love? It makes no sense. Now, but I am a business guy.
Yes.
And you know, when somebody's teaching me a principle about business, I want to know, even though if it feels right, I want to know how it makes sense as well, right? So here's how it makes sense from a business standpoint. Any business person, whether you're a solopreneur or you're running a big company or anywhere in between, right? We all know as business people that our competitive advantage comes from the degree to which our customers engage with us, right?
Yes.
The degree to which our customers want our product and service. Now, if that's true, what's the highest level of engagement with our customers? It's not when they're satisfied with us. It's not when they think we're okay. Mm-hmm. It's when they love us. If I love your product, I'm going to buy more of it. If I love your service, I'm going to use more of it, and I'm going to tell everybody I know about it, right? This is why Yelp is so powerful nowadays. And other things, related to it. So from a business perspective, what we want to create is a product, a service, or a combination of the two that our customers are going to love. Why? Because that's where our competitive advantage comes from. That's where the money comes from, ultimately,
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's so true, right? Because you talk about companies like you talk about Apple, Mac. Like there's a fight, right? It's like you need to be an I person or you need to be a PC person.
Yeah, Apple versus PC. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so there's it's a very people like really buy into the love that they have of that product.
And Apple users love Apple. So I'm not going to make any disparaging remarks about your HP laptop sitting on my table in an Apple household. Right. So, but let me just build on that.
Take that back. We're gonna have MMA fight.
There you go. So, if that's true that we want our customers to love our product and service, the only way to create that experience in a meaningful and sustainable way over time is to create a culture or an environment that people love working in. If I hate working here, if my boss is an idiot, or I think he or she is, it's very difficult for me to turn around and do great work for my customers, right?
Yes.
So we want to create that environment that people love working in. The only way that I can do that as a leader, as a business person, is I have to love this first, right? So this all gets very personal very quickly.
Okay.
The rationale starts with the experience we want to create for our customers, and through the culture we want to create, gets right back down to us. And what is your connection to the work that you do? Why do you love your work? Why do you love your business or the business that you're trying to create or the team? Why do you love your team? Why do you love the people that you work with? Why do you Yeah, so we should make this a drinking game. Every time we freeze, you have to take a shot and sing the song from Frozen.
Yeah, we don't know what that song is, but
then record it. Then record it and send it to Linda. So
we're back. Oh, we're gone again. Yeah, no, we're here. Okay. Okay, so I asked the question about employees. Like if you're an employee, so how does this relate to employees versus the employer?
Yeah. So it's interesting if you sit down to answer the question, why do I love my team or my company as an employee? And the answer is, I don't. That's a fair answer.
Probably hear that too often.
So first of all, understand this isn't about putting on a happy face. It's not about being, naive or being Pollyanna-esque, if that's a word. I will tell you that your experience is accurate. And what I mean by that is, people, and it may even be yourself, that have made money, have been quote unquote successful in their jobs, and have been miserable every step of the way.
Yes.
But they succeeded in spite of that, not because of that, right? So the question is, can you find something about your work that you do love, or in the beginning that you care about? Let's start with that. Let's get a little ember that we can fan it into a flame over time. So find something that you connect with. Maybe it's your customer, maybe it's your a couple of colleagues that you work with. I have colleagues that I've been working with for 30 years.
Wow.
And why do I still work with different companies? We've been through different, incarnations together. Why do I still work with them? Because I love them.
There's that connection
because I love them.
Yeah.
And that's why the connection is there. So start with that and then see where that takes you. Now, if indeed there is nothing lovable about what you're doing and where you are, then that would be a good indicator that it's time to find something else. But I wouldn't jump to that conclusion. Now, here's the other thing. What we're talking about here really is, it's not just when I say just a business principle, it's not to diminish it. This is a leadership principle. Now, I teach, a platform that I call extreme leadership, and that has nothing to do with your position or your title. So you can be the CEO of a company and be a terrible leader. We've all seen that.
Yeah.
And you can be on the front line, as a quote unquote worker bee, which is a terrible thing to call somebody. But, you could be on the front line doing the work and nobody reports to you and be a great leader. Mm-hmm. So leadership is about how you engage and how you influence people to change things for the better. You can be a good employee, even a decent manager, and not love your work. But you can't be a great leader. Leadership requires a connection of the heart. Because what we're doing as leaders, again, regardless of position or title, is we're striving to change things for the better, to change our piece of the world for the better, and eventually the capital W whole wide world for the better, in the broadest possible sense. And it's the heart that drives us to do that. It's the heart that creates connections between people. And this is what we need to do as business people. Mm-hmm. This isn't California touchy-feely hoo-ha crap. This is hardcore business. This is not an easy thing to do. It's very easy to understand, but operationalizing love, in other words, taking the experience of love and weaving it into the way that we do business, is hard work, and it requires higher standards, not lower standards. Mm-hmm. Higher standards. This isn't about, I love you, so so if you want to slack off, it's okay, because I love you. Right. This is, I love you, I love this place, so slacking off, etc., is not going to be tolerated around here because we love this place too much. We
want it to still be here.
Yes.
Right. We can't be here if we don't work.
And we don't just want to be here. We want to be leaders in the field, whatever field that we're in. So this is about raising the standards, not lowering them, raising the standards, holding ourselves and the people around us accountable to those standards. But if we're really coming from a place of love, we'll do all of that with kindness. And the minute we lose the kindness, the love evaporates.
So what do you think about like the millennial, if I could say it, millennial movement? Okay, I think we're back. Yay! Yay! We're back. Very interesting. Yeah, I think there's some kind of like good juju going on here. They don't want us to talk about love.
Nah, they do. Whoever they are.
Those millennials.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I've heard. Now, I don't know what the reality is or not, but what I hear is that millennials are going out and they're actually looking for companies that they can resonate with, a place that they feel like they can connect with. They want to make sure it's a place that has heart. And so what do you think about that? Or have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's, it's fairly well known. I think it's almost conventional wisdom that the so-called millennial generation is looking for more meaning in their work. And this started before the millennials. I mean, this started with Gen X, Gen Y. I mean, I've been seeing this trend developing since the mid 90s, where people want, going to work is not just about earning a paycheck so you can go home and live your life in the evenings and the weekends.
Right.
This is about doing something of value. It's about doing something that's meaningful, something that's going to have a positive impact in some way on the world. And so, yes, it's a wonderful trend. And it always bothers me when I hear people of my generation, the proverbial baby boomers, in senior positions in companies, speak of roll their eyes and say, these kids, these millennials. Every generation says that about the previous generation.
Right, those kids.
I mean, our generation, my generation.
Well, I'm with you. I'm a boomer, so
it was like these kids with their rock and roll music and their long hair, and it's still the same today. So the millennials are bringing a wonderful perspective into the business world, because we should be looking at our business as a vehicle to change things for the better. Mm-hmm. Not strictly from if you want to do it from an altruistic standpoint, that's cool, but it's just good business. Love is just damn good business. So I think we have every generation has an opportunity to be mentors to the generation coming up and to be students of the generation coming up. It's a two-way street. And I just think that the perspective that the millennials have grown up with is going to benefit all of us in ways that we can't even anticipate yet.
So what would you say to an employer who is baby boomer, and they have these millennials, and then also millennials do, a lot of them look at the older employers as stuck in the mud, like they don't know how to, learn from them, and vice versa. What do you do with that? How do you throw love at that?
Well, I think, first of all, in my experience, because I do a lot of speaking at companies and conferences, and the Extreme Leadership Institute, we do very extensive consulting work with companies to help them turn their cultures into the kind of thing that we're talking about here.
Okay.
And what I've learned is that I'm really not in the business of convincing anybody of anything. My job isn't to convince you that love is important at work. My job is to confirm the impulse that you already have where you know that that's true. And I find that most people already know that that's true. It's an instinct or an impulse that they've had but have not acted on because, again, of our conditioning. We think that impulse comes up and say, no, that's wrong. It doesn't apply. That's not business. They push it away. So my job is to say, no, that's the right impulse. So let that out. Now let us help you turn that into something really tangible and concrete, right? So that's the starting place. Now, if you're looking at the intergenerational thing, here's a really simple idea for any boomers that may be listening.
Yeah.
Go to a millennial that you work with or that works for you or just in your life, sit down and ask him or her to teach you how to use Instagram. Just do that, right? So, excuse me, and I'm speaking from experience. You've had
this experience just recently.
Yeah, I'm speaking from experience on this. I haven't tackled Snapchat because I'm just not convinced that I need to spend the time on that. But
right.
Instagram is really compelling to me, and I'm just learning my way around it. So start with that. But then there's a flip side. Okay, it's a give and take. So try this arrangement. You teach me, you millennial, teach me about Instagram, and I'm going to teach you a lesson. That's a
And we're back.
Okay, so not knowing exactly where we froze, I'll just say this part again.
I'm just going to stare at that for now. So are you okay if I don't look at you? Like I have this thing about eye contact because I love you.
Oh.
So I'm going to look over there. I'll look at your eyes over there.
Yeah, okay. So what I was suggesting is that if you're a baby boomer, ask a millennial to teach you how to use Instagram. But then there's a give and take. Offer them a lesson as well around texting. And what I mean by that is, I'll tell you what we do with our family. So, my kids and my stepkids, there are 6 of them all together. Veronica has 3, I have 3. The youngest is 22, the oldest is 41, right? So these kids have grown up in this. They've grown up texting. So the rule is when we go out to dinner, the phones get put away. There's no texting at the dinner table. And the agreement is that when you start paying for it, you can text all you want. As long as I'm paying for dinner, no texting. But here's the lesson. And I've gotten on my soapbox with them, and I've gotten a little preachy, I know, at times. But I believe this to be true. If you and I are sitting together, and you're, just the 2 of us even, and you pick up that phone and you start texting back to somebody that just texted you, what you are saying to me in that moment is that this person who is maybe 1,000 miles away is more important to me right now than you are, who is sitting right across the table. So in other words, the presence gets broken. So here's the lesson that I think we older folks can help you younger folks with, is to understand that being fully present with somebody is becoming increasingly rare because the technology is pulling us away. So being present is becoming rare, But how people respond to presence is not becoming rare. We as human beings always respond to it. So,
see, you can't do that when you're on tech.
That's right. You can. You can do it this way, right? So what that translates into is, if you can develop the capacity for being fully present with whomever you're with, putting the phone away, not being distracted, really tuning in and really listening, you are going to gain a tremendous advantage, competitive advantage, if you want to think of it that way, as a business person, as a human being, because so fewer and fewer people have that ability anymore, and people will always respond to it. Always, always, always.
So how do you teach somebody that kind of skill? Because so often people are thinking what they're going to say next instead of listening, like really actually listening to the conversation. Like, this is a skill that I think I've learned, through time.
Yeah.
But how do you actually teach somebody to have that skill and actually focus on the other person and give them your time?
Yeah. So I think, and this has been going on for forever. I mean, even when I was a younger man, people would teach.
Are you going to take your false teeth out now?
That's right. I don't want to scare anybody. Teaching listening skills has been around for a long time, right? So yeah, there are always skills that we can learn to be more attentive and all that.
Yeah.
But I think really what it comes down to is it's love. It's love. If I love you, if I want to love you, if I'm just getting to know you, and my impulse is to say, I want to get to know you. I want to learn more about you because I want to love you. I want to love working with you. And I'm not going to love you the same way I love my spouse or my kids but I want to have that, deep affection and care and all that and kindness for you. Then I'm going to be truly interested in who you are and what you have to say. And if that's where I'm coming from, I'll be present. And then it's just a matter of removing the distractions. And focusing in and just allow yourself to come from that place of curiosity about the other person. And just see where that takes you. And listen, that's not to say that everybody that you sit down with and talk to is going to be your best friend. I mean, sometimes you have that experience where it's just like, it's nice getting to know you, but
I just don't love you.
We're just not going to be hanging out together.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's cool too.
Fine.
You
it's
still
good
want
to know that.
Yeah, but you know what? You still want that person to walk away having a good feeling about you by virtue of the experience of having been listened to.
That's so true.
So we can teach each other generationally.
Yes. Also
a hard thing to spell.
Yes.
We can teach each other.
I love that. And it is about listening to each other. Yeah, I do love that. It is about listening to each other and actually like listening and, engaging in. We are back.
We figured out that this freezes every time Linda looks away.
Look away. So I'm not going to look away anymore. I'm just going to look at the screen over there. So I'll be ignoring you guys while I'm present.
You're still frozen.
Oh my gosh.
If it didn't actually freeze, we're going to have a lot of minutes of us going, damn, it's frozen. That's for everybody going, no, it's not frozen. Keep talking.
Oh, we're frozen again.
Well, you want to try seeing if you can find the other Wi-Fi?
Yeah, let's see if we can find it. Wait, is that it? No. 29.
It's very weird.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if I can go to my hotspot. Is it there? Yeah, here's my hotspot. I still haven't turned on.
I don't know what kind of signal you're going to get here. Let me see if it's showing up on my phone. Are we broadcasting?
Hello.
See, this is like what we were just talking about. Yeah, okay. You're not really here anymore, right. So I can just fall into my phone.
We're trying to get it on our. We're trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, see, I'm seeing it. 29.
That is weird, huh?
That is very.
Oh my
strange.
gosh! Help me solve this problem. You can't connect. Let's see if it's there now.
We're looking at. I swear to you, we're not texting. We're looking at the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we're trying to figure the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So you're hearing us, Kate. We're there. We're connected there. We're talking about being present with each other and not texting. And we're both on our phone because we're trying to figure out the Wi-Fi.
In order to connect with you.
Yes, in order to connect with you. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's skip to the 3 tenets of greater than yourself. This is something you talk about, and so let's hear all about it. You know, how did it come to be? And then what are the 3 tenets? And
I just so happen to have a branded mug right here.
Let's see. It's
greater
too shadowy.
Yourself. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's what that is. The greater than sign. Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't even think. I thought it was like pointing to yourself. Okay, right. Got it.
Yeah. So let me set some context for this. So we've been talking about love as a leadership and business principle. One of the things that I've noticed in my work is that the greatest leaders that I've met focus on making others greater than themselves. Which is a bit of a paradox, right? So if you're interested in becoming one of the greatest, focus your attention on raising others up above yourself. So you see how that's a little paradoxical. If I'm the greatest, how can I make others greater than me? Because that makes me, but it's true.
Because that makes you greater.
That's right. It's just the way it is. So that is an act of love. If I'm, as a leader, if I'm going to invest myself in you to such a degree that the end result, you know, and you can call me a mentor, you can call me a coach, or whatever, but if I'm going to invest myself in you to such a degree that by the time we're done working together, if that day ever comes, you're going to be better at this, whatever this is, than I am. You'll be a greater leader than I am. That is, excuse me, that is a very significant act of love. I'm going to do that because I love you, because I want to see you succeed. And this is not about doing it with some kind of a quid pro quo or some ulterior motive that someday I'm doing this for you, and then someday I will come to you and I will have a favor that I will expect you to. It's not a Godfather.
That was oh, I thought it was Archie Bunker.
Yeah, whatever it was bad. But you get the idea. So this is really about pouring yourself into somebody else.
What about, because people who don't fall into that, let's say, do you believe like that there's jealousy, they're afraid of competition, they don't want somebody to be better than them, they don't want other people to have more to them? Yeah. There's a lot of reasons. Abundance, you guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons that people don't do this or resist it. And you pointed to a lot of them, a number of them. Ego is probably the simplest way to put it. But it comes from a zero-sum game mentality, that this belief that my success is somehow predicated on you're not being as successful as I am, or maybe even on your failure, right? That the way for me to get ahead is to destroy you. And again, it's just not true. I encourage you to look into the research of Adam Grant, who's a professor at Wharton. He talked about this quite a bit in his book, Give and Take, where he finds that the most successful people are the ones that make other people successful. And it's a kind of a truism and a principle that we've known for a long time, but the research bears it out. And the reason is really very simple. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why the success comes back, but just think of it this way. If I have a reputation as being the kind of person that creates superstars as a result of their working with me, for me, and around me, when it comes time that I need help, or there's a project that I'm working on,
everybody's going to be raising their hand to help
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Because you helped them.
That's right.
What does it say? If you want something, help others get what they want?
Yeah. We've said it any number of ways, but the practice of it, particularly in a business environment, again, is really challenging because it requires us to kind of take that on faith at first and put the ego aside. But I've just seen it over and over again. Again, I didn't make this stuff up. right? I mean, this is based on a lot of years of a lot of observation. And what I've seen over and over again, the greatest leaders that I've met never focus the attention on their own accomplishments. They don't try to take the credit. In fact, quite the opposite. They shine the spotlight on other people, and they do what they can to make them successful. And they know that this will come back to them, and that's not the reason they do it.
Right.
So that's the nuance here, right? I know that if I can help you be successful, it's going to make me more successful, but that's not why I'm going to help you be successful.
Okay, why is it that you're going to help?
Because I love you. Because it's the right thing to do. Because it's the right thing to do for our organization. I mean, if I look at my team at the Extreme Leadership Institute, I've got these really Hold on, I'm texting. My team at the Extreme, I'll just tell you about two people on my team.
Sorry to be yelling at you. Ricky. Little Shay. I don't know about that.
So, two people on my team at the Extreme Leadership Institute. And there's, we have 120 certified facilitators around the world. So I have it's a great team. It's a big team, but I have the CEO of the Extreme Leadership Institute is Brian Stevens. Look him up, Bryon, Stevens with a PH. He was actually featured on Undercover Boss.
Oh, cool.
He is the CEO of our company. Now, it's the company that I founded. It's my body of work.
Right.
Why is somebody else the CEO? Because I'll answer the question myself. Thank you very much. Because he's so much smarter than I am.
Were you the CEO at one point?
Yeah, I was the CEO. I was the president and the CEO. He's a brilliant business guy in ways that I will never be. And I loved him for that and for a lot of other reasons. Jenna Lynch is our president. She used to run HR for Tony Robbins a while ago, and is a very accomplished consultant who helps companies apply our LEAP framework, which is love, energy, audacity, and proof. She's helped a company in Seattle make #2 best place to work in the state of Washington. And we've got another team member who's helped the company in Jacksonville, Florida, become the best place to work in the city of Jacksonville. Now, why is Jenna the president? Again, I'll answer my own question.
She's smarter than you.
She's so much smarter than me in what it takes to really weave this stuff into even the HR policies of an organization. So we know, as business people, we should know that we want to surround ourselves with people that are smarter than us, that are more capable than us. And it's our job to not just go out and find those people, but to take the folks that we're working with and help develop them into that, to bring out their superpowers so that they go on to be so much smarter than, more fulfilled than, more accomplished than I am. If I can do that with everybody in my company, that is a phenomenal company.
That's a place to want to work. You want to come to work because you're surrounded by love.
Exactly.
So often places that we go, there's not love. There's, so many people are without love in their lives.
Yes.
And so they find that one place that has love. And if it can be your workplace, that's awesome because you're there 8 to 20 hours a day.
Well, yeah. And what I'm suggesting is that as a business, we want to attract and keep the best possible talent.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So back to what you were saying about millennials, they're already looking for this. They want a place that they can connect with, that they can have meaning with, right? So if I can create an environment that people love working in, I'm going to attract the best talent at a very low cost. So Trailer Bridge, I've talked about them in some videos recently. We've got a case study written up about the work that they've done. #1 and #2 best place to work in the city of Jacksonville. They've been applying this stuff for a couple of years now. Several years of the most profitable in the history of the company. and lots of other benefits have come to them as a result of doing this. One of them being that they spend virtually no money on recruiting anymore, because their own employees are their best recruiters. They want their friends, their most talented friends, to come work with them, because they're saying, this place is phenomenal. Just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they were in bankruptcy. They were a toxic place. People couldn't wait to get out of there. Now that it's a love-based culture, people are doing whatever they can to get in there. And once they're there, they want to stay. So again, as a business guy, this all falls to the bottom line. So greater than yourself is one application of that. And there are three tenets, three practices. Expand yourself, give yourself, and replicate yourself. And by the way, I write about this in my book of the same name, Greater Than Yourself, which you can find on Amazon. But expand, in brief, expand yourself is this idea that we all know that we need to keep growing, right?
Yes.
So if I'm going to be a GTY, as I call it for short, leader.
Oh, greater than yourself.
Right.
Okay.
If I'm going to be that kind of a leader and raise you up, I have to make sure that I'm expanding, that my own knowledge is growing, that my own experience is growing, that my own network is growing, that my wisdom is growing, not just for the reasons that we've been told in the past, because that's the way that we stay relevant and that's the way that we stay competitive. That's all true. But in this case, it's so that I have more to give away. The more knowledge I have,
Okay.
Oh, you're still here? A couple of years from now, this is gonna be hilarious. It's like, you remember the days when you used to freeze?
It's gonna be hilarious in an hour.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
So we want to expand ourselves so we have more to give away. So give yourself is the second tenet of Greater Than Yourself. That it's not just about being helpful to somebody. It's about opening up the floodgates and saying, I'm going to pour myself into you. I'm going to share all the contacts. I'm going to look for opportunities for you. I'm going to share all my wisdom with you, give you my coaching and my honest feedback. And so that's the give yourself. Replicate yourself. It's a little bit of a misnomer. It's not about creating clones.
I was going to ask, you can clone yourself. Which you can do if you want.
You can. In my case, I don't know that.
I'd rather clone my future self. Yeah, I don't want to clone my now. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be cloned yet.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not that. It's really more accurate to call it replicate the process. So I'm going to do this, as I mentioned earlier, with no expectation of anything in return.
Yes.
Except for one thing. I'm going to ask one thing of you.
That you take it and use it.
With
love.
For
others.
Yes. So I
filled in the blanks.
It's like Mad Libs.
I don't like that game, by the way. Okay, go on.
So
I love Mad Libs. Okay.
So this is how we change the world. So if I'm going to do this for you, the only thing I'm going to ask is that you do it for somebody else. It's the old pay it forward kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That's how we make this a cultural thing. Is we set a different expectation, whereas we're coming from a tradition that says knowledge is power, therefore I'm going to hold on to as much of it as I can. And changing that into knowledge is power to the degree to which I can give it away and share it. We change that, then we're changing cultures. Then we're changing the world. And changing the world is really at the essence what extreme leadership is about. If we're not at least striving to change the world for the better in our time here on this planet, we will have sold a ruby for the price of spam. And I think we really owe it to ourselves and to the people around us to
spam
step
is
up.
golden.
Yeah, and not that there's anything wrong with spam. They're not a sponsor, are they?
No, I'm going to spam you with spam.
Yeah. So spam even means something different.
That's true. Yeah, it's really interesting because where I came from in my past life was somebody of holding on to the knowledge. I didn't want to share. I had that. I was extremely closed and didn't want to share because they might get ahead of me. Jealousy, ego, whatever.
Yeah.
I had it.
Yeah.
And since I've changed my mindset as to give with that expectation.
Yeah.
Because I really don't. I find a lot of times if I give something to somebody, they're asking me what I want in return. Nothing. I just want you to enjoy that, or I want you to use it. Like you say, use it so you can give it on to others. And it really changed my whole way of being.
Yes,
as a human being.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
I think human being instead of human doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that experience that you had, it's not you weren't hoarding knowledge because it's somehow encoded in your DNA to do so. It's because there was some conditioning or training that you had that said that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And we're all subject to that.
It was fear. Fear for somebody getting ahead of me. Right. Fear for somebody taking that job that I wanted. Yeah. So many different reasons it could have been.
Sure.
But
if you claim to have that proverbial abundance mindset, and you're holding on to knowledge, you don't really have an abundance mindset. You don't really believe it. You want to believe it. So try it. Just try it. See what happens. Because what you experience,
it's so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like I'm actually getting a little emotional just thinking about it because I'd forgotten what I was like before. Because I've been living this way, it's only been a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's only been about 3 years. So living this way, it's totally like these, my friends here have seen the shift in me.
So how would you characterize it? What does that shift look like?
The shift, oh gosh, it's an opening up. It's like an opening up of your soul and your mind to say, I just want to be a good part of this earth. I want to be a nice person in this planet. I want to be somebody who has purpose, and I'm sharing what I have with others, because when I share, I almost sometimes feel a little selfish for sharing, because when I share, okay, Steve, I think we're back. Okay.
Hold on.
Little cats.
Hold on, there's somebody.
Hold on, there's somebody more important than you.
Than all of you. No, I'm just kidding.
We were just messing around there. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just sharing of yourself and your soul and being who you are. I had to discover who I was first, so I could be who I am, because I had lived the first 21 years of my life in not good situations, abusive childhood, abusive first husband. And living in that way, I found that I was living my life to make sure I could please them so nobody would get angry, no one would get hurt. Yeah. So I lived my life being the people pleaser. And then once I hired a life coach, and the life coach helped me to see things differently about who I am, and to help me say, you know what, I need to discover, what does Linda like? What does Linda love? What does Linda hate? Because if my ex-husband loved it, I loved it. If he hated it, I hated it. I didn't even know who I was. Yeah. But once I learned that, now I can actually live as that person.
And then that made it easier for you to share. So that's a great illustration of expand yourself and give yourself.
Yes.
Right? So that the expansion of your self-awareness, self-knowledge, enabled you to be more giving to other people. And the beautiful thing about that, excuse me while I cough, the beautiful thing about that is giving, in this case, is not giving in the sense of a balance sheet, right? So if I have $10 and I give you $5, I have $5. If I have honesty and I give you honest feedback, I don't have less honesty now.
No.
It's not like, used up all that honesty. I guess it's just going to be lying.
I'll wait till someone deposits more in.
Yeah, that's right. It's just lying from here on out until I get a few more honesties. It doesn't work that way. In fact, what you've experienced is that it grows.
Expansive, right? Yeah. Exactly.
So you see, expand yourself and give yourself. There's this there's this, this virtuous cycle. They build on each other, right? And then the replicate process is taking that, giving it to somebody else and asking them to have that experience with another person. So you can imagine all these growing spheres everywhere, if I can get a little bit abstract. That's really what this is about.
Yeah. So now how do you apply all that then to a business? So
well, again, ironically, it's the context of business that makes this difficult, or that makes it provocative, because of our conditioning. We believe that business is a zero-sum game, that you have to just challenge your own assumptions and try it. So start with one person. This would be my prescription.
Okay, now wait. Do you start with one person that you don't really like that much?
No,
or someone
I would start with somebody that you know, somebody that you trust, somebody that you love, somebody that you believe in, and take that person on as I like to refer to this as a GTY project. Some people don't like to be called a project, but for the sake of conversation, start with one person, take that person on as your GTY project, and now your intent is to raise that person up above yourself. What will happen is you're going to get better at this. They're going to benefit from it, and you're going to learn through trial and error, and there will be some error as to what this feels like, so that we develop the capacity to do this for more and more people, right? So that's the place to start. One person as your GTY project.
And it might be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It might be, because I can share with you, when I grew up in my family, I don't remember my parents ever saying, I love you. And so when it came time for me to say I love you to people who were not like my husband, my current husband is amazing, but when it came time to say I love you to someone, like to you, like if you said it to me, I would feel so awkward, and very nervous about it, and thinking there was some ulterior motive,
right.
Whereas now I say it to people all the time, and it's real. I only say it if I really feel it. I don't just say it. Like, I'm not just going to say it, but I say it because I truly there are some people in my life who just really bring so much joy.
Yeah.
And I want to be around them so much. And I honestly, truly, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. I just love them so much. And I want them in my life so much more.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a great point. It's not about saying
Oops.
Yeah.
That's me.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm not suggesting that you go around telling everybody that you love them. What I am suggesting is that you do your best to allow yourself to feel that and act that way.
Yeah.
Even if I
if
I don't genuinely love you, I can act as if I do. In other words, I can be kind.
Yes.
I can be kind. I can look for opportunities for you. I can help you, and what will happen more often than not is you start to have that feeling. So here's a way to think about this: love, as we're talking about it here, it's not a sentiment.
There's a many splendor thing. Okay.
Love is not a sentiment. It's a practice. It's a discipline, right? And it does take discipline to do this. And so in a work environment, the payoff is clear. We get higher levels of engagement, we get higher levels of productivity, we get higher levels of innovation, we get higher levels of the what's the word? If you were to do employee opinion surveys and that kind of a thing, you're going to see it. You're going to see it show up in all the metrics, in all the things that we want as business people. So it's not just a nice to have; it's a must have. Here's a fact that I find both hilarious and troubling. Okay, Over the last 10 years, the business world has spent close to $1 trillion on leadership development of all kinds.
Gosh.
$1 trillion, okay? Now, Gallup, the famous Gallup organization does a very famous study every year, which measures employee engagement.
Okay.
So, and there's been lots of research that correlate high levels of engagement with all the great business results we've been talking about. So this year, the most recent Gallup study shows that 73% of the population is either disengaged or highly disengaged. 73%, okay?
Just disengaged and highly disengaged.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes, that's a lot. That's the point. Now, here's the other point. 10 years ago, what do you think the number was?
70.
You're right.
I heard you talk about it the other day.
Yeah.
I was paying attention, people.
You were paying attention. So over the last 10 years, in fact, over the last 20, if you go back to as long as Gallup has been doing this study,
it's gotten worse.
It's been statistically, essentially, it's the same, right? It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. So we need to do something radical to move that needle. And we've been ignoring love as a business principle for a long time. And I believe that that's the reason we haven't moved that needle. So now is the time to stop, not only stop ignoring it, but walk right into it and do what we can to apply it in the way that we do business. And I can't prove this now other than looking at a few different studies and just from our own kind of anecdotal experience and working with clients. But if we can really do this as a business community, 10 years from now, that needle will have moved significantly. And, let's talk, not that we're not going to see each other for another 10 years, but wouldn't it be cool to check in 10 years and see what's happened?
Yeah, that would be
But we got to get to work on this, all of us.
We all do. And, the people that I hang out with, like you too, are the people who are vibrating in that love category, right? So we have Chris Coda here says, love equals vibration and energy, which is so true. And then Jenna, thanks for typing that out. Greater than yourself. Steve is a business pioneer. Yes.
Well, thank you for saying
I like that word, pioneer. Steve is love is such a powerful sentiment. It really is. Love is amazing. So do you think that from your research that you've done so far, that this kind of started during the political correctness times about 30 years ago, or?
I think it started way before that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it comes from, there's a whole, in management theory, there was a generation that was called Theory X style management. Okay. And it evolved into Theory Y. Theory X style was very much the kind of the militaristic top-down sort of a thing that really came into play in a lot of ways in the industrial era when we started having factories, right? Cogs in the machine. And then we started to build business. So we started. Wait, hold on a second. That joke's getting old.
Yes.
We started. It's getting old for them. I think it's fun.
It's fun for us.
We started to treat people like they're cogs in the machine.
Yes.
So I think
because it's even a saying that person's a cog in the wheel.
I feel like a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
I just show up for work. People tell me what to do, and I go through the motions, and I go home. That's no way to live. It's no way to live. So Theory Y was more people oriented. When we started as the business world started to understand, wait a minute, these are human beings. They're not tool and die parts. So we've been on this road for a while. This people orientation in business has been around for a long time, but we're still very much influenced by the mechanical thinking when it comes to businesses. So we still have work to do, but I certainly don't want to sound doom and gloom when we look at the course of what's changed in business over the years. I think there have been a lot of changes, and the expectations are different now. Now we want to go to work and we want more meaning, and back when I first started doing this kind of work, just having a conversation about culture, having a conversation about mission and vision, people used to roll their eyes.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, of course, I need to have a mission and a vision, and and it should be aspirational and all that. So we're making progress.
World changing. So what do you? I just had a thought. Is that if, like, let's say, for example, a person is a solo entrepreneur, they're just getting started, that maybe they don't have the staff or anything to practice this with, to bring this part of the culture into their business yet, but they can still practice this when they go to a networking event, when they meet new people, at different places. They can still practice sharing love with people.
Of course. So there's a couple of things. It's great.
Okay,
it's a really important point. So for the solopreneurs out there, until you have a customer, you're not a solopreneur. You're just a solo.
You're a hobbyist, right?
So let's assume that you have a customer.
Okay.
That's where the practice starts. How do you show your customers that you love them, right?
Okay.
How do you create an experience that they're going to love? So start with that. But here's the other thing I want you to consider. If you plan on being a solopreneur forever, which is totally cool, it's fine. Then that's the culture is what you bring with you wherever you go. Like you said, your reputation, the way you come across in networking events and association events and your relationship with your customers, and that's cool. On the other hand, if you want to build a company, don't make the classic mistake that most entrepreneurs make, which is it all becomes about what they have to sell and how they're going to take over the world. And they never, I'm not going to say every, but most entrepreneurs don't give a single thought to the kind of culture that they're building. Because here's the thing, you already have a culture. If you're one person, your culture with your customers, it's already there. If you're a company of 2 people or 200 people or 2,000 people or 200,000 people, you already have a culture. This isn't about creating a culture from no culture. It's about what kind of culture do you want to create? It's about an intentional culture, right? So the mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make is they don't pay any attention to what their culture is until it's already ingrained. And then it's really hard to change it. So what kind of culture do you want to build and perpetuate right from the very beginning of your endeavors in your enterprise?
That is such a great point, because we all have, like, whoever we are, that is, wherever we go, we have our reputation for whatever. So for example, there might be somebody you're like, oh, they're going to be late because they're always late. Okay.
Right.
So that person, right? Great. Or some of those people. Or you already know that person's going to be there because they're always on time or they're always early.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm the one who shows up on time typically. Today I was actually early. So that's because I made sure. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But so you have your reputation wherever you go. You have a reputation. The question you might want to ask yourself is, what is my reputation?
Yes.
Do I like that reputation? If I don't like that reputation, it's time to change it.
Yeah. And even to take that idea, which is really great, and kind of take it up to the next notch. What do your customers say about what your reputation is, right?
Yeah.
So, what do the people that work with you say about that?
Do you under promise and over deliver, or do you over promise and under deliver, which a lot? To see it.
So
I'm back.
Yeah,
because you're gonna.
I'm really curious to see what this is going to look like with all these
I know. Faux pas
coming and going.
To bring it all.
Bring it all. No, did I psych you out?
Yes, you did.
Bringing it all together in this way.
Okay.
Do what you love in the service of people who love what you do.
Do what you love.
Do what you love
in the service
of people who love what you do. Okay. So doing what you love is important. It's the foundation for everything we've been talking about. It's not the whole story.
Okay.
I mean, one could argue that criminals are doing what they love too. That doesn't qualify.
That's true.
So you're doing what you love, but in the service of people. So that's the context. That's the moral context. It's the ethical context. And it's also the business context. I'm doing what I love in order to serve you. and I'm serving you in such a profound way that you love me in return. That's what I get. That's how I get paid, right? If you love me back, you're going to pay me literally. You're going to talk about me. So do what you love in the service of people who love what you do. Now, you can break that apart and use it as kind of an assessment tool, right? Or a conversation tool. To what degree are you doing what you love? That's one question.
Okay.
In the service of people, to what degree are you serving people with what you love? And who love what you do? The third part. To what degree do those people that you're serving love what you do, right? So you're assessing yourself, you're assessing the delivery, and you're assessing the response. So this whole debate about, is love important as an entrepreneur? Should I just be doing what I love? What if I'm doing what I love, but there's no market for it? Or what if I'm just chasing a market, but I really have no interest in it?
Yeah.
So that's, this is all of it, right? So yes, you want to do what you love, and you have to have a market for it. So I'm doing what I love in the service of people. If there's nobody there to serve in doing this, then maybe I need to look for another way to earn money and find something in that I love, right? Okay. And if I'm serving people, my success is going to come from the degree to which they love me back. So the key in all of that, do what you love in the service of people who love what you do, is the L word again. This is a whole discussion, and maybe it's a discussion for another time. Okay. But fear is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's like anything else. There are aspects of it that are positive and aspects that are negative. Okay. I actually think that fear is the other side of the equation. If I step up, my motivation comes from love. I love this idea. I love the kind of future that we can create. It gets me to step up and take action. The experience of taking action, especially if I'm changing things, is going to be scary.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? So it's a different kind of it is fear, but it's a different flavor of it. So fear in the right context is actually a very positive thing, because what it shows us is that we're actually doing something. So if the love is there and the fear comes up, then it's an indication that I should pursue it. I call this the pursuit of the OSM, which is spelled capital O, capital S, exclamation mark, capital M, which stands for the oh shit moment.
Oh.
That's the other part of the equation.
I would never have guessed that.
Yeah. That's the
oh shit moment. I love that.
The oh shit moment.
Well, it's interesting, and we can do one on fear, because in 2015, every day I woke up and I asked myself what scares me, and whatever popped into my mind first was the thing I did that day. So I every day encountered something fearful.
That's good training.
The growth I went through in that 1 year, oh my gosh, it's like nothing else I've gone through in my entire life.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's great.
Amazing.
And it's relative. One person's fear is another person's walk through the daisies.
Exactly. And there were a lot of the fears, they kept coming up. So it's not like I did 365 different things. No, some of them can, and some of them still come up today. But I recognize it. It's fear, and I say, okay, that's all that is. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, the fear of standing up in front of an audience and speaking.
I love it.
I do too.
Oh my gosh!
But for most people, it's absolutely terrifying, and for some people, they love to jump out of airplanes.
Yeah, I don't.
Not me.
No,
not me.
Okay, so I want to thank you guys for playing along, and we'll see we're going to check it out later to see what happened, because I think we probably got bumped off about, 20 times, 30 times.
Yeah, let's go back and count. That'll be fun.
Well, that's what we'll do. We'll put some love around it.
Yeah.
But if you want to reach Steve, go to stevefarber.com and check it out. He's got you have a 5-part extreme leadership audio series.
I do. Actually, there's the fun little secret is it's more than 5 parts.
Oh,
it says 5 parts on there, but I like to give more than you think you're getting.
Okay,
so if you go to stevefarber.com, that's where everything lives for the moment. I have a blog there, and I've got this audio series. You'll see a place to opt in for it. If you've never visited before, you'll probably get a pop-up for it. So it's pretty easy to find. I get a lot of really good feedback on it. But if you just, I invite you to poke around. There's a lot of video. There's quite a few resources there.
Cool.
And the other thing that I invite you to consider is if this resonates with you and you're the kind of person that you feel you'd like to teach these ideas to others, we certify people in our Extreme Leadership Workshop. And we have our next certification coming up here in San Diego, August 10th through the 13th. So if you'd like to explore,
it's
a 4-day intensive.
Nice.
I facilitate it along with my master facilitator, Diane Kenny, and it's extraordinary. I know I'm biased when I say that, but it really is. And I'd be happy to talk it through with you if you want to explore whether or not that's the right thing for you to consider.
So go ahead in the comments below, type the word certification if you want information on that. And I'm going to set up my messenger bot so that it will automatically send you a link to reach.
You have a messenger bot?
I do.
That's so cool. I want a messenger bot.
It's filled with love too.
I want one.
You need one. You need one.
I do.
But can they find out about it at stevefarber.com?
Yes. If you go to when you go to stevefarber.com, there's a little tab that says workshops and training. Just click on that.
Cool.
And you'll see all the details.
Cool. That's going to be here in San Diego, August.
I'm sorry. Did I say August?
Yeah.
I meant October.
Okay, October.
Yeah, October 10th through the 13th. Now I'm really confused. No, I'm absolutely positive.
10,
it is not August.
10.
10th.
That makes it
13th,
easy. 10.
10 through 13. And I know it's in San Diego. I'm completely convinced.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Steve, it was great. And we're going to do this again for sure because we're going to make sure we have better internet. So anybody who was watching, seeing us go in and out, we had a problem with the internet as far as the strength of it. So we kept getting kicked out. But we just had fun with it.
It was fun. Yes.
It was fun for us. We hope it was fun for you too.
Yes.
So stand by for my next video. I have no idea who I'm interviewing next. So we'll see who it is.
I don't either.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. So of course you don't.
But thanks. This was great fun. And thanks for coming over to visit.
Oh, I want to show you guys. That's right.
I don't know if you'll be able to see because it's kind of bright out there right now.
Hold on. I'm going to carry you around.
They're right that way.
Yes. So I'm going to take this.
Okay.
You might have to tell me what they can see.
All right.
I might have to pull the whole computer with me. Here, pick up the
let me turn that
computer.
on so you can see.
Here, we're going to disconnect it. Here, you carry the computer. Come on with me,
That
Steve.
computer looks like it weighs about 100 pounds.
It does not. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're bringing our whole entire operation. You guys, hey, we might as well make this just the silliest video we've ever done. Okay, oops. Okay, here we are in San Diego. This is Steve's house here. And what are we able to see? We're able to see starting here?
Yeah, you can kind of see.
Yeah. So that's his view from his house. Is that amazing or what? I don't know what they can see, but
yeah, I think you can kind of. It's a little glary, but
yeah,
that's the San Diego Bay out there, and
so beautiful.
Yeah, we just moved down here in December. We sold our house in the suburbs, and yeah. So now we live in Little Italy.
Is this Little Italy?
This is Little Italy, yeah.
Okay, so
the fact that
where am I? Okay, wait. There we go.
There. The fact that I live, my wife and I live in Little Italy, in San Diego.
Yeah.
You know what that does? That makes us the hippest people you know. Yeah.
You are.
Really cool.
Totally.
Hey, and then my guitars are over here.
Our situation.
These are my
Oh,
guitars.
wait, hold on.
Come meet my guitars.
Okay.
As long as you're,
Watch, don't trip. Don't trip.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, do you actually play or do they just sit
I
there?
know, I play, yeah.
You do?
You don't know
so
that
what do
about
we
me,
have
huh?
Here? No, I don't. I play bass guitar.
So that's a Martin
Oh, nice.
D45.
I just really love that. What year is that?
That's 2000, I think.
That's
yeah,
nice.
It's an amazing guitar.
What's this
That's
one?
a 1959 Gibson hollow body.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Hollow body.
30. and that is a Gurian guitar, Gurian. It's kind of, I actually tell